welcome back to Watercolor 101, and in this video we are going to be drawing and painting a real picture, the first one in the series. So we're done getting our supplies, finding out about how to use the tools, and we're done playing. Well, you're never really ever done playing. Playing is always fun to do, but now our playing has paid off and now we're ready to paint a picture. And so we're going to be doing one of my favorite beginner pictures because it's really easy to do and it comes out looking amazing at the end. So this is going to be a painting of a butterfly. I know what you're thinking. I can't draw a butterfly. And I don't have any videos on how to draw a butterfly. So that can be challenging. And the challenging part about doing a butterfly is making sure that the wings match up, because if they don't match up, if they're a little bit bigger or whatever, it looks off. How do you get those symmetrical? So I'm going to teach you an artist trick for using on this watercolor tutorial. So what you'll need is just a regular drawing piece of paper, which is what I have here, and I'm not going to use this sketch here. I'm actually going to take and fold it in half. Alright, so I have half of the paper folded. So on the side that's folded, so this part here, I'm going to draw half of a butterfly. If you'd like a tutorial on how to actually draw a butterfly, leave that in the comment section below. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw kind of a triangle shape up this way, like that, and then this nice rounded kind of bottom shape like that. So there's my butterfly wing shape. But how do I get the other half to match? Well, this is where a tool that we usually don't use in watercolor comes in handy. Scissors! I'm going to take and cut the shape out. So once I've cut this shape out, I can open this up, and now I have a template for my butterfly. Now this is where you want to bring in your watercolor paper, and you want to use a nice quality watercolor paper because we're going to be using a lot of water with this. And if you use just regular drawing paper for this, you're going to find it really buckles. If you have any questions about watercolor paper, check out my video all about watercolor paper, and I'll talk about different kinds of brands and different types of papers you can use and what they will do and why my camera is blurry and all that. So you're going to take your watercolor paper, and then you're going to take and put your butterfly cutout right on top. And you can position it however you want. You can have it just straight on there. I'm going to put it off just to the side a little bit and maybe a bit at an angle. And this becomes my template. Now I'm going to take a pencil and very, very lightly, just barely putting any pressure on this, I'm going to very carefully trace the outline of my template. Once I've traced it, then I can go ahead and take my paper off, and you'll see I have this perfect little outline of a butterfly. Okay, so now that we have our butterfly outline, this is where we get to have fun painting. So get some nice clean water and a larger paintbrush. So I'm going to use this number 12 flat round, and I'm going to take just water and paint with water inside this entire butterfly. During this time, you want to definitely take your time and make sure you stay in the lines, because the paint is going to go wherever the water is. If you seem to think that your water is drying up because you're taking too long, just periodically just drop another drop of water in there, and it will kind of refresh everything and give you time to get your wash all the way around the butterfly. Once it's completely all the way watered, and it's really nice and drippy water, so you're looking at it and you can see it's very, very shiny, then you're going to start adding in your first base color. I'm going to use a very light color. I'm going to use yellow, and I'm just going to drop this in, and you're going to see the color just begin to spread. And this is all about layering up our colors. So if it's too light at first, you can go back in, get some more yellow, and just place that color in there. Let it kind of swish around. You're going to sweep that color across your butterfly, and again you'll see it's only going where the water is, so it's not rolling anywhere else. And I'm just going to put this all in there so that it's nice and yellow. Now you can see it's kind of marbly looking right now, and if you like that technique, then you want to stop and let it dry a little bit. But if you want it more of a solid color and not the mixture. You just keep on moving that paint around until you get the consistency of coverage that you like. I want a little bit of marbling, but not too much. And then once you have the color on there that you like, rinse out your paintbrush really well. And now comes the time to add some more color. Now you can keep them just this one color, but I like adding lots of different colors. So I'm going to get a nice dark concentrate of another color. I'm going to use purple this time, and I'm just going to tap it into this top corner here. And because it's still wet, paint is going to bleed around. What's fun about this is because there's so much water in here, you don't have to worry about trying to control and micromanage it and make it go exactly the way both sides are. With watercolor, it's just going to do kind of its own thing along with you, but that's the fun part about it. It's going to look very organic. So I'll put my two colors right up here. I want to try to match where I drop my colors, but I'm going to let the paints do what they want. Once I have that color in, I can switch over and get another color. I'm going to pull in a nice cool kind of blue for down here. I'm going to start this one up here. Nice big blue spots right here. And I'm just going to let it pull it down into this puddle. And you'll see that there's a really big puddles down here. And so it's really kind of swimming around there and changing it into green down in there. I'm just going to kind of let it do its own little thing. Rinse my brush out again. I'm going to pull in some pink. I'm going to just tap in just some little bits of pink right up here. Boop, 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 boop. Now you can go as crazy as you want, because this isn't going to be a realistic looking butterfly. It's a very artistic butterfly. So you can just have as much fun as you want, adding as many colors as you want. You can really make them really look kind of tie-dye-ish, all that. The more color that you have on this piece, the cooler it's going to be, at least in my opinion. Okay, so I noticed that my green puddles are really gathering a lot of water, and so I want to lift some of that water out, especially also here at the tips of these purples. So I took my brush, cleaned it off, dried it off, and I'm just going to lift that color off. Remember, the water is going to go into the driest area. So since my paintbrush is drier than my paper, the water is going to be absorbed back into my paintbrush. I can just kind of tap that out. If I keep tapping, I'll pull a lot of this color up. I don't want to pull a ton of color up. I just want that much water. It's a little concentrated. And so every time I pull this up and I have it, then I take my little rag and I dry that paintbrush off. Alright, once you have the butterfly that you want, then you're going to want to let this dry before we move on to the next step, and it has to be completely dry. So the next step after your picture is dry is to prepare some either really dark black paint or to get a black pen out. You could use a perma marker, you could use any of your inking tools. So I'm going to actually use liquid black ink. So this is the brand that I have been using lately. It's Bombay Indian ink, and this is in the color black. So I shake it up a little bit. So for this part, I'm going to use my really thin liner brush. So a liner brush has really long bristles, and this is a number 2 size, and it helps you to get that really nice thin line. So now you get to design the pattern for your butterfly. And again, you want to try to keep them similar to each side. So when you do something on this side, you're going to want to try to do the same thing on this side. There is no wrong or right pattern design to go with, because this is a made-up butterfly. So really, this is up to your creation. So I'm going to do this part in time-lapse, and you guys can create your own specific design. But a couple hints is I generally will outline the whole butterfly in black, and then add in some lines, and I will thicken up some places and make other lines thinner. Might add some black dots, but just have fun creating your own butterfly. So here we have a really cool butterfly all finished, and I think it looks fantastic. I left this side of the paper blank. I'm going to maybe send this as a little note card to someone, and you can write a little letter on this side, so they get a really nice painting and a little note from you. There's a lot of fun things you can do with this. But knowing that butterflies are so unique and different, every time you paint one, it's going to be different. Even if I tried to recreate this one exactly, it's going to come out differently. It's personal, it's unique, just like the people that you make these for. So this is another butterfly I did using the same technique, and you can see it looks totally different. I just changed a little bit of the shapes of the wings and add a little bit, more frillies to it, but the same technique. Started off with just the wash, placed in the colors and let them bleed through, and then added in my black outlining. Love to see what your butterflies look like, and so make sure to send me a picture of those either on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and I'll leave all the tagging information in the description box below so that I can be able to find your pictures. I think some of you guys have sent me pictures and I can't find them. So I try to find as many as I possibly can. If you're brand new to this channel and enjoyed this, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you want to learn more about watercoloring, hit the watercolor playlist, and it will take you back to the beginning where I talk about all the different tools and supplies that I use, what you need to have, what you definitely don't need to have, what you can have in the future, but what you need to start off with, all that stuff. I talk about it all. And yeah, thanks again for joining us. Until next time, God bless you guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.